Thank you for joining us. My name is Hannah Gunn, and with me I have Payne and Georgia Clark. The product our team will be discussing with you today is the True Blue Torch, a torch that is always there to light up your life. Throughout this presentation, we will be analysing the chosen brand concept associated with this product and how it adds to the overall appeal. We will also present 2 storyboards to a 30-second advertisement for this product, whilst discussing the creative reasoning behind the ad and how it is likely to be interpreted in a way that aligns with the brand concept of this product. The True Blue Torch is a product that aims to make everyone feel included and accepted and promote something that is more than just a torch, but rather a community that you can always rely on to be there when you need it. The True Blue Torch aims to create this brand image by using advertisements to create an emotional attachment and a connotation that our brand has a strong sense of community and is reliable. Gove, in his 2009 work, Emotional Branding, the new paradigm for connecting brands to people, stated that due to the hyper-competitive market that exists for goods in the 21st century, the product itself is not enough to attract a new market or to even maintain the existing market. He believed that it is a brand's ability to emotionally engage consumers on the level of the senses and emotions is how a brand comes to life for consumers and forges a deeper, lasting connection. He further describes how emotional branding focuses on the most compelling aspect of the human character, which is one's desire to transcend material satisfaction and experience emotional fulfillment. The True Blue Torch product will use emotional experiences from people's past, such as the various floods and natural disasters across Australia, and childhood fears to connect with the brand and urge consumers to buy with their heart rather than their head.
As Hannah said earlier, the True Blue Torch is about inclusiveness and acceptance, which are foundations us as Australians hold near and dear to our values as a nation. Australia has always been a country where we give everyone a fair go, which was evident in the 2011 floods here in Brisbane. As Hannah also mentioned earlier, Gove, in his 2009 work, Emotional Branding, the new paradigm for connecting brands to people, stated that due to the hyper-competitive market that exists for goods in the 21st century, the product itself is not enough to attract a new market or even to maintain the existing market. We must make audiences feel something in order to then associate that emotion with the branding of the product. In this storyboard, we have chosen to illustrate a flood cleanup using people from the SES, but the main focus being on the neighbour that comes to help in the middle of the night with the cleanup. They come with the True Blue Torch, which has an underlying message of lighting up your life potentially in the darkest of times, such as after a natural disaster, just like the floods many of us experienced in our recent memories. The neighbour coming out to help his fellow neighbour demonstrates the Australian culture of mateship and giving everyone a fair go, which is an emotion that links to the target audience. Some of the key terms of communication theories that have been used to create this ad concept are semiotics and extra-textual framing. Semiotics is an understanding and analysing of communication through the use of signs. Signs can be anything as long as it has a meaning. Signs are made up of 2 components: signifier, which is the physical appearance of the sign, and the signified, which is the mental concept behind the sign. As I mentioned previously, the neighbour helping his neighbour during a dark hour, both literally and metaphorically. In this case, the torch can be used as a signifier because it is a sign that reflects the mental concept behind the sign. This can also be defined as an index because it points to something other than itself. The second communication theory we used was extra-textual framing, which is defined as the use of information outside the text, like background knowledge to understand text. As mentioned earlier, we have based the storyboard on the floods, particularly in Brisbane, over the last few years. Assuming this ad would be played in Brisbane or anywhere in Queensland, we have utilised the communication theory of extra-textual framing to gain an emotional response from those who have experienced the horrific floods Mother Nature has given us in recent times. I will now pass on to KCN to analyse our second storyboard.
The concept for the second storyboard is that a little girl is scared of the monsters under her bed, so her father comes in with the True Blue Torch and scares the monster away. Then we move to another visual that is set 20 years later, where the little girl from the previous shot does the same thing for her daughter. This idea is used regularly in many films and advertisements, so therefore there is only really one meaning that is conveyed through the advertisement, as it has become a cultural standard. We choose to use this storyline because it has become a cultural standard, so there aren't many connotations that people can find within it. Also, with this choice, there is no room for the idea to change due to a language barrier or differing cultural interpretations of the ad, as it is a scenario that is experienced by parents globally. Our concept of emotional branding is reflected in this ad idea through the evoking of fear from the monsters under the bed. The emotions established through this image are the instinct to protect your loved ones as well as a sense of caring and family. By showing a visual that many families relate to, such as the parents coming in to save the child, it promotes the connotation that the True Blue Torch is a brand that people can turn to and trust to be there for the most important people in their lives, and by showing the story over 20 years, it establishes to the audience that this torch is reliable and has supported generations of families, and it implicitly shows that it will continue to do so into the future. Some of the key terms of communication theories that have been used to create this ad concept are denotation and extratextual framing. Denotation is defined by Sternberg in the Week 3 podcast as a literal meaning that can be drawn from a text. It is used within this ad to establish the cultural standard that is understood by everyone. The denotation that is expressed in both storyboards is that this torch is there to protect families for generations, provide comfort to the home by knowing that the True Blue Torch is there when you need it. We use extratextual framing, the use of information outside the text like background knowledge to understand text, in this advertisement through the fact that people already know of or have experienced the main concept of the ad. It helps to promote the True Blue Torch as it gives the audience more insight into the product and how it can be used by everyone throughout generations. By bringing outside information and experiences, it allows viewers to connect with the product and reflect upon the times that they were in this situation and needed a trusted torch.